Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Dead Unicorn, the tabletop role-playing game club. My name is Corey. I'm here with Tarek, and today we are continuing our long-running series, the L5R rewrite series. We did a little playtest 2 weeks ago, and I have been taking a second job, which has been killing my time from this channel. I want to do more stuff on this channel, but I also want to eat and get a new computer and and this channel does not make a lot of money. So I thank you for all of the support that you guys give me here. I'll be done in a week or two, definitely by the end of May 21st, and we can really get back down to business.
Yeah, cut it down to brass tacks.
Oh yeah. I have videos that I want to make about stuff, about a little unboxing. A Rapscallion unboxing video is dropping on Monday. If you're a Patreon member, you've already seen it. It's already on my Patreon. Do you know what Rapscallion is?
I don't actually.
I got it right here. So I'm showing it to Tarek right now because he's on a different camera. But this is it for everybody else. It is a pirate swashbuckling game from Magpie Games, the same people who make the Avatar: The Last Airbender game, and it shares a lot of the same rules with Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Really?
Yeah. Am I gonna run it? I don't know. I should do a read review, and I should mark things like read review, play review.
Yeah.
I'd love to do a review with you of Pathfinder 2nd Edition, Tarek, sometime.
I'd love to do that too.
You're like, I don't want to read that entire book, and I'm like, my dude, you've been running the game. You've run two games for me of Pathfinder 2nd Edition. And I'm in another Pathfinder 2nd Edition game that y'all don't see on this channel.
I am jealous of that. I want to play Pathfinder 2nd Edition so badly.
We got an open slot. Somebody's leaving our game, and we if you want, we'll talk about it after the show. Yeah,
for sure.
But yeah,
I love
Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and that is all. I'd love to do that review with you because that's all going to be like prep for a Kickstarter that I'm putting together for an adventure called City and Starlight.
Yeah.
And it is a full-length adventure with really great artwork, and it will have rules in it for Dungeons & Dragons 5e. It will have rules for Pathfinder 2nd Edition and rules for Cypher. All three rule sets will be in one book.
All compatible.
It will all be compatible. It will be compatible with all three systems. How am I doing that? Why am I doing that? I don't know.
You're absolutely a mad lad.
I am a mad lad, and I want to make some good money on this. Like I said, I have to take side jobs right now. So, watch this channel and watch out for the drop of this backer kit that I'm doing called City and Starlight. You know what? Let's put a link to it.
Put a link to it. Link it out.
Entertain the people, Tarek, while I find my backer kit.
Well, so I'm super excited for the City and Starlight. It looks really nice. I think it's awesome that it has so many different compatibilities. So whatever game system fits you best, fits your table best, you can run it with. It takes a lot of time and dedication to make that work right, and that is super exciting to me. I think that putting out that kind of a high-end product is going to be super awesome, and I hope a lot of people jump in on the backer kit and see this thing get all the love that it deserves. That's like a huge monumental step forward.
Publish your
And
teaser.
hopefully
My teaser
doing
page
it
isn't published. That's what I gotta do.
Huh?
I gotta publish my teaser page. Oh my god! Now it's out there for everybody.
Oh no. Well, oh yes, actually. Now you have nothing to hide. It's all out there. It's been teased.
Oh my god! It says it's launching in 5 days. Is that something I? Oh my goodness! What am I thinking?
You got 5 days.
No,
Launch
no,
it,
no.
baby.
It's not 5 days of funding. It's 5 days until it launches.
No,
And
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
You got 5 days to prep all the launch.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I am going to. Yeah. Content. We're going to go to live. We're gonna go here. We're gonna hit. City and Starlight.
Boom. City and Starlight.
Put a link there. Save. And hopefully that link works. And now it's in the description.
City and Starlight, for those who don't know, is a adventure module that Corey is putting together. He's running a backer kit for it. It is compatible, like he just said, with D&D 5e, Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and the Cypher system. So you can play whatever system fits your table best. And it's a fully custom world that Corey set up, an adventure path.
It's really not it's a world. Like there are there is a world here, but it's also it's just ready to be cut and pasted into anybody's world.
Yeah, it can fit pretty much anywhere.
All right.
So, which is hence why it's in all these different systems.
Yes, exactly.
All these systems. Yeah, so you can pick it up like a adventure module for your D&D 5e game. You could pick it up as an adventure module for your Pathfinder game, whatever the case, and have a blast with it.
But people are here for this Legend of the Five Rings rewrite. We should jump right in. We don't have any comments from
no comments
for these last 2 weeks. No comments.
Really?
Yeah, really.
No one was judgy about our little playtest.
No, nobody was judgy about our playtest.
Our
playtest was a little boring. I gotta say, if y'all watched that, good on you. But
yeah,
we have some problems.
Getting familiarized with this thing, and yeah, we uncovered a lot of loose ends that we can tie up.
So I think first off, when I used the adversaries and the minions, I was struggling to figure out how critical strikes work and how I did critical strikes.
Mm-hmm.
I think first off that minions should not be able to do critical strikes.
They just deliver fatigue.
They just deliver fatigue unless you're incapacitated. Or what was the new word that we're using?
Spent. Was it spent?
Fatigued.
Fatigued.
Yes.
Fatigued.
So if
we started with spent and then we went to fatigue.
So once you're fatigued, which means you can't defend yourself anymore, then they can do a critical strike. But until that time, they can't do critical strikes.
They can only deliver fatigue to you.
And then adversaries, I think just one of their abilities they can just always do is they can give themselves a strife to attempt a critical strike.
I think having a generic ability that allows them to do a critical strike is fair as long as it's low low severity, because otherwise just being able to spam that every turn is going to be very problematic. But I think that they should have an ability based on their the NPC profile. You can give a villain or an adversary the ability to do some kind of what is the term that we were using? A consequence.
Yeah.
That is a higher rated critical strike. So if you don't defend against this consequence, then you get a bigger critical strike.
That's what I was saying. I was like, they can do they'll just have an ability that is they can gain a fatigue, or I'm sorry, they can gain a strife. And every time you decide as a a game master that your NPC takes that strife, they can make a critical strike a consequence of the attack. And then all you need to do to get rid of a consequence is have either A, a bonus success, or B, an opportunity.
Yeah, that works. If you want to attach it as a consequence to the attack and have the player defend against that, I think that's great. But it has to then have a set TN, which is going to be, I guess, the combat
no,
rank
it's the regular
NPC.
It's the regular combat, like the TN to. I mean, what are you talking about? Like, that's just the attack. Like, NPC attacks, you have to defend based on a TN
Making a attack resist roll.
Yeah, attack resist roll.
Your system.
Which for the threat fatigue system that we were using, it was a TN1, and to defend the character takes 2 fatigue points plus 2 for every bonus success. Minus
yeah, but that's rules for a PC, right? For a PC strike action. So for the NPC, they had like on the NPC stat block, it has like a combat consequence or striking as fire, right? And then a critical strike, which is one strife, 2 strife, 2 strife. So each one of those had their own little strife amounts. And the consequence, I guess that's the consequence value, right? That's the number of opportunity that you need to defend against.
Yes. But we're just talking about, like, I'm making a strike attack and I'm trying to do threat to you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's it. That's the first thing, because we're getting a little confused now. So let's just go through it from the beginning, right? Because this is why I was like, we need to kind of
So if we're doing a dry run, right?
So
let's say you're Ronin Bushi. Look at page sample NPC, or just click on Ronin Bushi. They have their abilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're in the middle of a fight and the NPC wants to do an action, they want to say, I'm going to give you a striking as fire moment, right? To increase the severity of any critical strike done with a weapon by the Bushi's combat rank while on fire stance. So they do that. If you are on water stance, you defend against that consequence with making an attack a resist roll, which I think we decided was a fitness check, or martial arts melee if you're in melee range. And so I would make that roll. I need 2 successes at the very least to, or 1 success to succeed on the basic attack resist, but I'd still suffer the consequence. So if I had 2 additional either bonus success and an opportunity, or 2 opportunities, then I'd be able to resist the striking as fire, so that the next time they would throw their critical strike out, like let's say the next turn, they do striking as fire on the first turn, then critical strike on the second turn, and if I wasn't able to resist the striking as fire, then the critical strike that they perform is the base of the katana, which is, let's say, 4 plus 2, or 5 plus 2 is 7. And then the Bushi's combat rank, so now it's severity 10 that I'm resisting. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm,
So if we're looking at it in that way, the NPC has the ability to, spend these strife to power up their abilities while still doing a bit of fatigue to them. So they're still doing their base, 2 fatigue. I'm assuming there's the anytime they take a strike action, they're doing a base of at least 2 fatigue.
That's right.
So and then in addition, whatever the consequences are that they are using from their abilities.
Under strike, a PC defends against an NPC strike by making an attack resist roll. The damage is 2 times the NPC's stance ring minus resistances. On a TN1, the character reduces the number of fatigue they take by 1, plus 1 for every bonus success. And that's it. That way weapons don't have... But I wanted to add something to this. I wanted to add something to all things. I don't know whether this is a good idea or a bad idea. I was talking a little bit about this on the Discord server and how people viewed what damage or threat actually is. And I was saying the longer or larger the weapon, the more threat it possesses. And you can see that, like,
Because it's harder to get away from the attack.
I'm pulling this a little bit from, like, talking to people who do kendo and swordsmanship and stuff like that. They're always like, the longer weapon, the weapon with more reach, has more of a chance to come out on top. It's harder to defend against. Advantage. It's harder to get through. So
yeah, people who say that larger weapons are more difficult to maneuver, it's not necessarily the case all the time. Unless you're using like a pole arm and you like somebody gets in real close, you're still probably going to be able to maneuver into half swording or something like that to get an attack off regardless. And it still puts the person with a smaller weapon at higher threat because they have to break through that range advantage that you have.
So I was thinking that threats increase depending on the difference between the range of a melee weapon. For example, if I have a range 0 weapon and you have a range 1 weapon, I do +2 threat. If I have a range 0 weapon and you have a range 2 weapon, you do +4 threat. Make sense?
I think so, except for ranged weapons. So ranged weapons.
That's why I said a melee weapon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Melee weapons only. So I'm gonna write this in. So melee size rule, and I'll put an asterisk there because I would make when attacking someone with a melee weapon with a lower range, gain +2 threat for every
range.
Difference for every range
for
difference.
Every difference in range difference.
Every difference in range.
Toward the person with a larger range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when attacking someone with a melee weapon with lower range. That's it.
Well, yeah.
That's it. And I'm going to write this just for clarification so everybody knows. This does not affect missile weapons.
Ranged weapons. Yeah.
Weapons such as thrown objects and bows. Yep. I think that's a great rule. I'm putting an asterisk next to it simply because it may be an optional rule. Because I think it adds a little bit more complexity. It
generates more threat, and as a result, you have more to defend against.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I think that makes more sense than, Tetsubo does like 7 points of damage and 2 points of critical of.
Yeah, of deadliness. Yeah.
Yeah, of deadliness.
It makes all weapons feel like they have an actual chance of hurting somebody instead of being like, oh yeah, I have a wiffle ball bat that's gonna knock you out, but you're gonna be perfectly fine afterward.
We need to go back to the weapons and change the deadliness for every weapon.
Yeah.
I think
we'll need a table for that. I mean, we can set up a table for it.
We can set up a table for it. Okay. So,
and I think give weapons more meaningful like abilities they can be used to do.
So minions, where are minion rules?
Minion rules are further down, I believe. No,
I think it's further up.
Minion rules. You have the minion conscripted minions and your NPC minion rules, mob rules.
That's just for mobs. I was thinking just minions on their own.
I don't think we did just a minion
I think we did. Did we not?
We did.
That doesn't make any sense. Of course we would have to have minions on their own. NPC changes, mob rules, minions morale, and more. So we need to just write something.
So in your combat rules, there are rules that are specific to minions, and then you have minion stat block that comes up with a little bit more specific information for how to conceptualize a minion. But I don't think we wrote any specific minion rules that are outside of that combat thing. So there is minion resistance for minions, damage for minions, that sort of thing. So
okay, we definitely need to codify exactly what minions can do, and that goes under NPC changes, I would think.
I agree. So we can make a new header under NPC changes that is just minions.
Minions. Okay.
Instead of minion groups, we have just minions.
1. Minions do not have fatigue or minions only have 1 fatigue and 1 strife unless in a minion group. Right?
Yeah, 1 fatigue and 1 strife.
Minions can have
armor values,
weapons and armor which work normally. Minions cannot spend strife to activate abilities such as critical striking. They may critical strike if
only
their opponent does not defend. Such as spending a void not to or being fatigued. There. I think that makes sense.
Yep. I feel like okay.
Yeah, because minions don't have basically if they take 1 strife or 1 fatigue, they run away or fall down.
There we go. I think that makes sense. Are there any other rules that we want to codify for minions specifically? Looking at the minion stat block. We should also put in this I'm going to copy this and put it in here so that it's all in the same place as well. So 3 minions resist this. Minions resist deadliness from critical strikes the same as NPCs. However, if they take a single value of critical damage, they will immediately be considered incapacitated or dead.
Yeah.
Receiving the blow, which is something we have down lower. And then I think there's more minion information here as well. No.
So here's the thing on minions that I want your advice on. Because we're saying 1 fatigue or 1 strife gets rid of them, right? So to make to get them fatigued, they have to take threat. which
yes.
you can use if you have an ability, technique, you can use that to give them threat. But or you have to hit a TN. With Strife, you just need one opportunity. Now, opportunities are less on the dice. Is this okay? Because I think it might be fine.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different ways to give a person Strife beyond. There are techniques that can do it. There are opportunities that can do it. There are like roles that could potentially do it. So I think that's fine.
Okay.
Because if it was just opportunity and opportunity alone, and that was it, I still think it would probably be fine, because while opportunities are less prevalent on the dice, you still tend to have like that just means that people who are more skilled or more capable combatants will have more opportunities to strife out a opponent, which makes sense. If you're less skilled and less likely to get opportunity to put a strife on somebody, that person probably has less reason to be like afraid of you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Would there strife
if you
on?
have, like, techniques
I just got
stuff like that to terrify somebody.
I just got a comment from Daryl. Would the strife on their dice cause them to run? So, in this version that we're creating here, NPCs don't roll dice, so they can't get strife from rolling dice. That's it. Only the PCs roll dice. They roll dice to attack and they roll dice to defend.
Yes,
so,
and if the PC rolls a die that has an opportunity and they spend that opportunity to give strife to the NPC, there is rules on morale for minions and whether they will break or not. And I think that's the same. If they get overstrifed as an individual minion or as a mob of minions, then they would break, quote unquote, and probably run or do something else to get away from the combat.
I think minions should have a rule that says something like this: if a minion becomes compromised.
Yeah.
They
attempt to flee the battle,
will unmask by fleeing and leave and
attempt to leave the battle.
Attempt to leave the battlefield. Attempt to leave the battle. If they are, they will continue to fight if stopped. They will continue to fight only if
unable to retreat.
Yeah, unable to retreat.
Yep. I think that could be modified by like adversary abilities. If there's an adversary on the field to help them, they might have an ability to rally or do something.
I like that idea.
Like, yeah, hey, outside the ability of
increase the more. Well, if they have a bunch of minions, that we might just make that into a mob, which we'll use the mob rules for.
Exactly.
And then
if there's an NPC, the NPC can do that specific ability if that's an ability they have, right? Like if they're some kind of commander NPC, they could have an ability that's like rally the troops, and any of the breaking troops up to the number of their like political rank will rally back to them.
So I noticed I had way too much morale when I was doing minions against you. So I'm going down to calculating morale, double if there's an adversary on their side. Instead, I'm going to say if there is an adversary on their side, add the largest, I guess, how would you say, like, the biggest stat?
Add the highest value
of the adversaries. Void, water. What's the rallying? Is it fire?
I think political, right?
No, I wouldn't. Yeah, political.
Or their political stat, or their the higher of their combat or political
I
stat.
would say, yeah, political. You're absolutely
Yeah.
right. It would be political.
So
Stat to
add the
their...
highest value of the political stat of the adversaries on their side, right?
Yes.
The highest value of the adversaries of the political stat of the adversaries on their side.
Something like that. Adversaries with a S apostrophe.
The highest value of the adversaries political stat on their. So I think it's easier to read if it's like the highest
Sure.
value of political stat from the pool of adversaries on their side to their morale pool.
That sounds good.
So if there's only one, then obviously you're just going to take that person's morale or that person's political stat. But if there are multiple adversaries on the field, like in the case of a mass battle, then the person with the highest political value that they're fighting for gets added to their morale pool. I think that makes sense.
And then double the morale from the political stat if the adversary has an advantage for leadership or commanding people. Boom.
Yeah.
And that way you're not doubling the entire thing over and over, like, because that was like, I was looking at that going, oh wow, I think we've made a balancing mistake here.
Yeah.
This is exponentially growing.
Yeah, this is good. I like this.
This is much better.
It adds a flat value on top of their morale that helps them to kind of stay together. And like I said, if you want to add something even more as a GM, you can give your NPC an ability that rallies your troops, so that they have less likelihood of breaking when they get to smaller value.
Hi Zenju! I'm glad we've been helping you in your game. I'm sure you're not using all of my rules, just the ones you feel are the best, and that's kind of what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the goal here.
We're making the game we want to make, but also hoping that there's good stuff in here for everybody to pick and pull from. Mm-hmm. And hopefully the guys who write this game are watching for another edition, and they'll hopefully pull some of these ideas that we like from the game.
Yeah.
That's the hope.
Ideally. Yeah.
Okay.
Or come up with some awesome stuff themselves that makes ours look silly.
I would love that too.
I don't know if that's the case. Yeah.
Like they look at our stuff and go, we can do one better. And
yeah, exactly.
I'm perfectly happy with that as well.
Same. Okay, I like these minion rules. I like these the minion rules, the mob rules look good. Adding fatigue. So we should codify adversaries too.
Yeah, we really should.
Some rules on adversaries as well.
What do we say? Adversaries have 2 stats. Yeah. Adversaries could come first before minions, and then kind of say what they are, and then minions are like, this is what is taken out, kind of. So adversaries have 2 stats. Adversaries have 2 stats, combat and political. These are modified whenever any ring roll is needed. How can we say this? Whenever a physical activity is needed, they use combat, and when a social or intellectual uh, activity is needed, they use political. Combat is modified by their physicality. Physicality has ring bonuses and penalties whenever they use their combat stat and it is linked to a ring that has a bonus or penalty. Apply it to their combat stat and that is their new value for the action. Minimum 1.
Yeah.
And we can just cut and paste that for
demeanor.
Yeah. And then we can say political is modified by their demeanor. Use their Yep. That's it. Political.
Let's also say that these adversaries should never need to make rolls/checks on their own. Rather, their effects and abilities should have a set TN value to resist based on the statistical characteristics described below.
If the GM needs to see if a
NPC
an NPC can perform a task against a static challenge or another NPC, simply check the two values against each other without rolling dice. Done.
There you go.
Have you guys seen Shadow Veil? I have an entire playthrough of Shadow Veil on this channel.
It's so
I have a review of Shadow Veil on this channel.
It's super fun.
I like Shadow Veil. I'll just say a little bit right now. It's done. They did their last update. I think it's a little overpriced for what it is because it's just an auto battler, and it only has it doesn't have more unique enemies than I have fingers on my hands. Let's be real. That said, it's fun. I had a great time playing the game. It doesn't have any microtransactions or anything like it. And I think it's a great way to introduce people into Legend of the Five Rings that don't know what it's about. And it's a low barred entry because it's just the game is pretty intuitive being an auto battler.
Yeah.
That's it.
I agree.
If it was $10, I would buy it for everybody. I'd be like, you get
for all of my friends.
Yeah, you get it and you get it.
There are two things that I wish about this game. That they made a multiplayer mode where you could play with your friends. And two, that they continue this pattern and make more games that highlight different clans, like special focuses.
Mm-hmm.
Like a court game for the crane, or a war game for the lion, that kind of stuff.
As for
raising ponies game for the unicorn.
As for ending their support for it earlier than they wanted, I say I grew up in the time of you bought a game and that's what it was, and that's what you enjoyed it as. These expecting people to constantly update it seems weird to me. If you make a cool new package for your game that updates a lot of things and adds a bunch of new content, that's called an expansion pack.
An expansion, yeah.
And I don't mind spending money for that.
Yep. I was explaining this to people the other day. Like, they were debating when DLC became a thing, and they're all very young people. And I was like, no. Horse Armor is the first DLC, but the concept of DLC, downloadable content, was not the first thing. There used to be downloadable content that was free, that were like things that you got in the mail that were on floppy disks that you updated your Doom series with because it came out with a new update, or you got errata that changed your whatever your Ultima Underworld game, and you would download that onto your computer. And then expansions were a thing too, where like Age of Empires put out a new expansion. You got to go buy the expansion from the store and put it into your computer and download that into it. So like these things existed beforehand. They just were either considered a separate add-on product, or they were just a free update that you got. You had to send in a mailer to the game company, and they'd send you back a floppy disk to fix your computer.
So Andy says, okay, if the game is overpriced and has almost no enemy variety, better to have free updates, no? Like, yes and no. Like I said, the game releases and it is what it is. Like, okay, I think it should be the game's worth half amount, but it's still like $20, whatever. It might come down in price later.
Yeah,
an expansion pack might double the amount of enemies, or maybe even triple the amount of enemies because it's not a lot, right? It might have an entire new map to go through, and it also like helps the base game with new art, all new stuff for it, and then you charge for that.
Yeah,
that just it's a thing right on top of it, and it gives you all of the new little bennies. That said, just ending support early, I think is fine, and you can focus.
As long as the game is stable, yeah.
Yeah, the game's stable. The game worked. The game is fun. You made a good game. Move on to your next project. Even if it's not L5R, you're a game company. Churn out fucking games.
Yeah. If it was like a massive game like made by EA that is an online service, you gotta pay for shit that every time that a new thing comes out, you got to buy the new costumes and whatever, and there's a subscription fee. Then update that game consistently,
because it's a subscription to it. Never, get your money's worth out of it. But like, you've released the game, you're making the money off of it, and now you're going to take that money and put it back into the game that is a one-time sell. Take that money and put it towards the next game.
Yeah.
Unless that first game you put out is broken somehow, unless it needs stability fixes and things like that, I'm like, next thing.
Yeah. You can keep like a developer on to, this is what usually dev shops do, will keep a developer on for maintenance. So if bugs get reported or issues get reported down the line, somebody can come back and still maintenance the game. But other than that, everybody else is working on the next game. Yeah. Right, because you're a company, you still need to make products and do the next thing.
Andy, I totally agree. Everybody wanted an L5R RPG. That's what everybody wanted. Sometimes we don't get what we want. We have to deal with, Santa Claus didn't give you the Nintendo. They got you a Commodore 64 instead. And
I was going to say the Sega Genesis.
Yeah, I got you the Sega Genesis. But, you hope, because I like L5R, I hope that, the wrong lessons aren't learned from maybe a failure if it was deemed a failure. I don't know what the real numbers were behind it, but I hope that it showed enough interest that maybe a bigger game could be made, or maybe somebody that didn't see it before now sees it and goes, what is this world? And they're like, well, I have a game company and I'd like to make a game. Maybe I can get that license. You know, like how did a game like Cyberpunk 2020 get CD Projekt Red to make a video game about it? It was not on my bingo card.
Yeah, that was purely people who had a love for this game franchise getting together and hyping it up and building it up. L5R doesn't have, I think, as much exposure anymore. It used to have a lot more exposure in the market, but not anymore.
I would think Cyberpunk 2020 has as much exposure as Legend of the Five Rings did.
True, but they had marketing behind it. A lot of money from big publisher like CD Projekt Red to put a lot of marketing behind a new edition and do all this stuff.
Before CD Projekt Red, before that game was ever announced.
I know.
They didn't have...
But because it's a relatable world, and after CD Projekt Red picked it up, they hyped it up and pushed it out there and marketed it like crazy, and got Tyler Sorian or whatever to put out a new edition of the game, the base game, all at the same time to coincide with each other. That helped boost the profile of Cyberpunk even higher, to the point where everybody wanted to kind of...
You might say, hey, Japanese samurai game might not be relatable, and I'd like a Ghost of Tsushima, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yeah. Like, there are so many freaking samurai games right now, and it feels like L5R missed the bus.
They did, but L5R is also like not just samurai. It has its own like weird cultural things and stuff like that you'd have to get people onboarded into. So I get that it would be a challenge for somebody, but I still think there's a publisher out there who could do this a real service and make it. I mean, look at all the way back in the day when they made Jade Empire. Jade Empire.
I was about to say Jade Empire. Wasn't Jade Empire supposed to be an L5R game?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
They lost the license, or
they lost the license because of the WotC AEG fight that was going on at the time. They didn't want to deal with it.
Was that what it was?
That's what I heard that it was.
Jade Empire was a banger back in the day. It doesn't hold up as much nowadays, but I think it's still good.
But it is, yeah. I still go back and play it every once in a while. It's really fun. It's just doing all the crazy acrobatic combo system that they had was just super fun. It was. Like, you gotta be honest. I loved that game. I played the crap out of it when it first came out.
It doesn't need to be a 2077 budget RPG. Like Rogue Trader, mid-budget isometric. Rogue Trader
did great.
Here's the thing about that, though. RPGs are just a regular RPG can be very hard to make. They are like, have you played the Tides of Numenera game? Like that game was intense, even though it was just text, and like you got a lot of writing to do. You got a lot, like with the auto battler, it was like a year of development. It was like a
very small team could get that out really quickly.
It got roguelikes reuse assets all the time. Like
the plot doesn't have to come out all at once. It's limited by the player, and so you can stretch the content because each player is going to have a different experience of how quickly that plot progresses.
Mind you, like I just watched a video from Yahtzee on Second Wind about, oh, not another roguelike again, and he's like conflicted about it, and I'm conflicted about it too. I was feeling that same roguelike fatigue that he did, and maybe saying things as roguelike is a cheap shortcut that makes a game less so and not more so.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, there are great roguelikes out there, and using that technique like isn't bad. It's just when it's used kind of lazy.
I mean,
so
I can think of a lot of RPG. Like, look at Owlcat Games. I think that's what their name is. That makes all the Pathfinder games. I think they made Rogue Trader as well. Those are really good, really high quality. But a lot of those games have been a loss for that company, and they're just managing to stick it out, making new games.
An RPG
there
is
a lot of effort to go into.
An RPG is hard to make. A roguelike is easy to make.
And it takes a lot of passion to make it good.
Oh yeah.
Like at least Owlcat Games had like actual adventure modules that they ripped directly from Paizo and got rights to that they could make one-to-one translations of. The Rogue Trader is a little more freeform, but you can tell there was a lot of passion behind that project. So the right developer has to get it. They have to have a lot of passion for it, and they have to put in a lot of effort to get that over the hub. But if they did, I think there would be a market that would eat up an L5R.
I think so too. I think so too.
Like in an instant. I know I would buy it.
Daryl says Owlcat is already making a Nye L5R game. So like
a
close like inspired L5R kind of thing.
Is that I have it downloaded on my computer, I think. Is that the one that's Shadow of the Road? Is that what it's called? Shadow of the Road?
We'll wait and see what he says. Until then, I hope that Asmodee makes the L5R label available to be purchased by a game company.
And just or license it out to people. There's a lot of people who would who would die to make these games.
I would hope that they would make it affordable and available. Like do a Warhammer 40K thing, right? Do a Warhammer thing, a Games Workshop thing where you're just like, there's gonna be trash and there's gonna be great stuff, but we're just gonna like everything just go.
Any developer who wants to pick it up and run with it, go ahead.
We'll determine what's canon and what's not later. Just go.
Yeah. And there is gonna be a lot of garbage, but there will be some gems in there.
Oh yeah, like. We get what are some of the best Warhammer games? Like what's the one that's like Total War?
Oh yeah, Warhammer Total War.
That's what it's called? Warhammer Total War.
Yeah,
those are great games. I really
1, 2, and 3. There's 3 of them, and I've played all 3 of them.
And we all want a Legend of the Five Rings Total War. We all want that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, we got it in Shogun Total War 2, but that was a long
time ago.
Bring that game forward, and there is an L5R mod for that game, by the way.
Ooh.
Which is cool. But I mean, bring that into the modern age, please. Like, give me an L5R Total War game. I will play that every single day. But an RPG, L5R lends itself so much to creating an amazing RPG story that there's just so much you could do with that. So much intrigue, so much politics, so much like tension and drama.
You know me, I like sex. I think sex sells. Like I don't like doing it in my own role-playing games, but like
I thought you were gonna say I don't like doing it in person, but
no, I don't like putting it in my own role-playing games because like y'all are my friends and now I'm role-playing like coming on to you guys. It feels weird, but like if I'm writing a game, or I'm sorry, if I'm just writing a book or writing a game, I figure like put some sex in there, right?
Oh yeah.
And wouldn't a L5R kind of courtier simulator kind of like
dating sim,
romance people to the top kind of thing?
Romance your way to the top. Dude, imagine an L5R Crane Clan dating sim. Like
I already had a video saying, hey, we need a dating sim.
Yeah. Dating sim would be great.
I actually don't like dating sims that much.
I don't either, but they would be hilarious. You could do so much with it.
You know what I got from some people? I was like, hey, make stuff for the ladies like a dating sim. And they were like, no, guys like dating sims. Girls don't like dating sims. And I was like, am I wrong?
Yeah.
Is it like, is this a My Little Pony thing happening here where dudes like it more than girls?
Actually, dudes more than girls. I think so. Actually, I think so. I think men tend to like dating sims more. But Yeah, I think there's so much you could do with L5R as a
Oh
franchise,
yeah.
and so many different directions you could take it in. Like, come on,
Yeah,
easy.
definitely. Like, I would like in Anno, like what's that called? 704 Anno game,
Yeah.
like with the Mantis clan instead,
Hmm. Yeah, that would
right?
be cool. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I can see even like a chivalry style or Europa Universalis style game with L5R where you take over one of the heads of the clan and you have to like do management of your civilization for over the course of history to see how you end up in a storyline. Like you could do that
And
as well, where you're making deals between different royal families and different cities and politicking your way to the top.
here's a really simple one that I think would make a great game. So you ever play those games where it's just really focused in on kind of a one-on-one thing where it's like, hey, we're playing Russian roulette and we like, there's like a Russian roulette table and then that happens, or there is like a shootout and it's just like, you play different cards or different abilities and it shows you what's happening in that one-on-one kind of thing, or like Slay the Spire, where it's a
Yeah,
one-on-one
Slay the
thing with
Spire.
cards. And I'm just like, why doesn't L5R have a game like that for duels, for
Dueling.
Iijitsu
Yeah.
duels, where you play focus, and then like an ability card that does something weird, and then once everything happens, boom, the strike, and both of them like across the screen, and one guy falls over and you're alive, and then you go to your next opponent. You
There's
open up your new booster pack and go to your next opponent.
there is a samurai dueling game like that just came out like fairly recently. I
I
had a demo of it. I don't
I
remember
would
what it's called off the
assume
top of my head.
something like that would come out because that fucking makes sense, and I don't know why it's not L5R themed.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. And it's not
all of
L5R
these
themed.
genres are
And
coming out, and L5R is asleep at the wheel. What? Huh?
yeah,
Or wait,
they're so behind. Yeah, but
me
it's because they
samurai?
have such turmoil in their development cycles and getting shifted around between different companies. Like
Asmodee's has
I have
had
to
it
imagine
now.
that if
Asmodee's had it now for almost 10 years. They just don't know what to do with it or don't care.
yeah, exactly. They don't know what to do with it or don't care. But I was gonna
I
say
mean,
I have a feeling that if AEG had kept it this whole time, that stuff like this would have been coming out. That they would have licensed it out by this point to
mm-hmm.
do that kind of stuff instead of just sitting on it.
Asmodee has Star Wars. They have the
Yeah.
Star Wars license. They have X-Wing. They have their Imperial miniature game. Like, they don't, like, what is... Okay, L5R, you can have this little spot over here. Well,
Yeah.
you can make your little miniature war game, which I'm very happy about. I saw the minis for those. Those look great.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy about those.
But you could do so much more.
But
You
like
could leverage that
it
so much more.
it seems like we're hanging our hat on one thing, which is battle simulator. Battle simulator, battle
Hmm.
simulator, battle simulator. It's not a bad thing. Uh
Tabletop battle simulator. Yeah.
but like we can do a lot better. I think we can
Yeah.
do a lot
You
better.
do a lot.
I think we can put out another L5R card game. Like, instead of making that a video game, make an L5R card game that
All about
is
dueling.
just the dueling.
Yeah.
Make a dueling deck and you pick your personality. It's like, I'm playing Doji Hotaru. I'm playing
I'm playing
Miyamoto.
Hida Obushi.
Yeah. And
Hida Obushi.
we're yeah, Hirosh, and we're doing a duel.
No, Hida Obushi.
I got
Hida Obushi.
my dual cards, you have your dual cards, and we play them, and then we defeat each other,
you
that
remember-
personality.
Do you remember the battle between Hida Obushi and Doji? Was it Toshimoku? I don't remember if it was
Could be
Toshimoku or
I don't know.
or
I don't remember.
Hida something. But it was one of the clan champions of the Crane versus Hida Obushi, and everybody like it was built up real big that they were gonna duel because it was like the last part of a narrated one of those narrated stories from back in the day. And then the next one came out after one of the like Kote wins, and a crab beat a crane in the Kote. So Hida Obushi beat whatever doji that was, whatever leader of the clan, and she just picked up instead of fighting with a katana in the duel, she just picked up a hammer and smashed the shit out of him and won that way. Oh, that was a great story.
Flesh and Blood would make a good base for a dueling card game. I think L5R should have a card game. I don't think it should be like the old card game. I think it should be something completely and totally different from it.
I think 100% that doing a Slay the Spire style card game where you do duels, like you're going through a dueling tournament and trying to get your way to the top, would work so hard.
Mm-hmm.
You could make 4 different like PC characters that you can choose to go through, and like one hidden one, and that would slap so fucking hard. I would play that game all the time. It would be so good. Well, they can't because L5R is a private license, so nobody can do it until they get a licensed ability to make that game. But I think that would be great. Sasha was like, "Don't say that out loud. People will steal your idea." I was like, "Nobody will. They can't."
I'll say this. I say this to everybody who's like, I think, don't say your ideas. They'll take the. I'm like, ideas are cheap. I have a bazillion ideas every day. Doing the work to get those ideas over the finish line, that's where true talent comes from. Yeah. Just saying that, like the people who made Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it's like, oh, they had a great idea. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle is like, no. They had that initial idea and then they worked at it. They made comic after comic. They wrote story after story. They did the work.
Yeah.
That they got it over the finish line. They got those things published. And without any of that, your ideas are useless. Right? You can say your ideas as much as you want, and no one will do them because they're not there. They don't have the gumption for them.
Yeah.
They just don't. You're the guy. You're the driving force behind it. You have to do that work. And that's how I feel. That's how I feel about it.
If Asmodee gave me the shot to make an L5R video game, I would totally take them up on that. So if anybody's watching from Asmodee, give me the rights. I'll do something with
it.
I'll do something with it.
Tarek will instantly get funding and make it a game company and go.
I would just so hard. I have experience. Come on.
He does.
I know
he's worked. He's a programmer. He's worked for game companies before, making a code for board games that became video games.
Yeah, and for Elder Scrolls Online.
And Elder Scrolls Online.
Yeah.
He's got bona fides, people.
I got some bona fides. Let's do this. Give me the rights. Hand them over. It would be awesome.
And then give me the role-playing game, and I'll rewrite that.
Oh yeah. We'll tag team
everybody's like, we need to finish out this what they call 5th edition, the Fantasy Flight edition. And they need to come out with that Unicorn book and the Scorpion book. And you know how I feel about that, Tarek.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, just go. We don't need those books. Over. Just create the new edition, and we'll start with the clans that we missed from last edition.
Exactly. Yeah. Give them a shout out by starting out with them. Give them some love. But otherwise, let's fix it.
Let's fix it now.
And fix it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yep.
Sasha would kill me because she's like, I just barely learned this edition, but still, I agree.
I would like the new edition to be based on the 5th edition. I would like that to happen because I think there's a lot of good ideas.
See an evolution of it. Yeah, I think seeing an evolution of this that has tightened up rules would really work well. Hence what we're doing, right? Like this is the whole point of what we're doing right now.
If you want an entirely new rule set, we already have the Adventures in Rokugan, which is 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, and if you don't want to do that, I have a video about what L5R would look in Cypher system, and it is magnificent. I think it would work extremely well.
I do too. It'd take a little bit of work, but it could be done really, really well.
I have a hidden document that I'm not releasing to anybody that has stuff. You can't get it. I'm not giving it away. It is not done.
It's not yours.
Maybe if I get it all the way done, I'll release it. But I am not. It is just for me right now.
Yeah. I think I think that, like I said, there's so much that you can do with this stuff.
I love L5R so much. I just do stuff for it.
That's called passion, right? Like
it is. That's what it is. That's what passion is. You're absolutely right. Mm-hmm. Anyways, we're over time. I think we've done, like always, we do just a little bit of stuff.
We push the ball forward a little bit.
We push the ball forward a little bit.
I think it's good that we codified minions and adversaries. I think there's more that we can do here. I think we should start pushing on, like maybe next time we'll talk about weapons.
And we gotta kind of once we get our weapons done, we get a weapons table. I think we can go back and do another playtest.
Like weapons and armor, and then do another playtest, and then see what we need to do, and then we can start working out abilities, and then like ability options. I don't think we should codify all the abilities that NPCs get, but ability options for NPCs to help people have an example of how to build NPCs really well.
Right.
And because that is a big core part of this, since NPCs are going to be kind of a reaction force, not a driving force. Obviously, we're looking at L5R as a narrative-focused game, not as a dice-first game. So that changes.
I know,
how the GM will,
and I know,
and so solidifying that will help.
And I know you people, some of you people out there are like, no, that's not how this. I want my NPCs are like me playing a character, or like me rolling for NPCs. That puts in a sense of randomness and things into the game too,
or fairness, because it's the same as they have the same rules as the PCs.
But we're more like where we're coming from is NPCs setting everything. It drives narrative and makes your character feel more important. The PC's more important. It's a game master. For me, I like to have fun telling a story and revealing twists and having people explore my world building and all of that. That's kind of what I like. I don't care about the combat simulation as much, though I do know that matters. And
that's why he asked me to be here.
Making that cool, like, combat strategy and watching it go through and seeing everything happen, and then maybe having that combat strategy and watching it fall apart as it doesn't work anymore. Like, that's great stuff too, and I want those moments to happen.
Yes, I agree. And they can still, because it's all randomized but on the players.
It's all randomized on the player side. Anyways, hey, thank you all for watching and commenting. Daryl, Zenju, Johnny Rico, Andy, Wargiz, you are all lovely. Maybe we'll see you tonight for Shadow Empire. And until then, go roll some dice.